Hello, welcome to Flower Juice. My name is John McDonald, and today we're going to make an arrangement really just using a variety of materials that I already had. So I didn't really want to, I didn't really have anything particular in mind, and I think that's the situation that a lot of us are in. If you're wanting to make an arrangement, you just have to see what you've got, and sometimes that can be really quite an interesting selection. So the thing that kind of caught my eye that I have are these lovely Nephofia. So I think these are really interesting, and I think these will make a great kind of like the main flower for our arrangement. So what we're going to use is we're going to use this low dish, and I love this dish because it's like a kind of antique glaze sort of look. And we're going to use a Kenzin for our mechanic, but you could use other alternative types of mechanic if you want. So you could use like the kind of wire brick that we've been using. That would work really well, but the Kenzin works really well as well. So let's have a look and see what we're going to do. I'm just going to get another flower that I've just spotted at the back of my room. So this is a seed head from an allium, and I've got 2 or 3 of these, and I think they're absolutely beautiful. So really what I'm wanting to make is a simple modern arrangement with interesting material. And I think the first thing we're going to do then is put in quite a strong line. And I've just got this iris material here that we can use. I think really you need to kind of think, right, where am I going to put this? And is it going to be all round? Is it going to be front facing? I think that's kind of one of the things you need to think of. So what I'm doing is, I've not got a preconceived idea of where this is going to go. I just want to see how best the materials lend themselves. And for me, that is adding a strong line to begin with, and then adding some of the bigger pieces or bigger materials, which in this case is going to be these allium heads. Now the thing with the Kenzin is you can actually position the end of the stem to one side to get a greater angle, which is quite interesting. And then we're really going to look at our red hot pokers. Now, they didn't all come from the same plants, so for all this one is taller, it may or may not fit in. So I'm just giving everything a recut. And I think what we'll do is we will make this like an all-round arrangement. So this is the type of arrangement that could go on like a counter in a workplace. Would be quite interesting. And generally in those kind of situations you're wanting something that's quite slim, quite tall, but also quite eye-catching. So the good thing about putting in our main materials first is that we can really see what we've got. So if we started with a lot of other things, you can kind of get a little bit lost. But I think these kind of bold materials are quite fun. And this is some bergenia leaves. So again, bold. And I think really with this, we are going to have an interesting arrangement, basically because of the choice of material is not your kind of everyday commercial flowers, which is quite nice. So I'm just really using the bergenia leaves just to create a bit of weight at the base. And then we can just have a little look and see what else we have. Now, I do have this. I do have a few things kicking around because We actually had a group of us here the other day making some arrangements, and people brought some pieces, which was really nice. And it's always interesting seeing what people will bring. But this has got a nice line to it as well. But I'm also conscious that we want to make sure that we've covered looking into our dish. We don't want to see any big gaps where you're looking straight into the canes, and we can just use a little bit of material in there just to cover that. I do still have a couple of these pieces of iris leaf. Now this one is quite weak, so I'm just going to put it side by side with the other piece, and it will get a little bit of strength from that. So I think this is the interesting thing, is when you're making arrangements, especially if you're making them for yourself in a home situation, as I said before, you really have to just work with what you've got, and that can really be a very interesting thing, because you will end up using combinations that you never thought of. And it makes you kind of use your mind a little bit to think, what do I have, and how best can I put them together? So I think with this arrangement, it's not commercial, it's a mix of stuff that we've had, as I've said, but what's interesting about it is that we're basically using an unusual combination and bringing things together that hopefully, I think, work well together to give us an interesting arrangement. And in some ways, that's what arrangements should be. They should be interesting. Even if you make something that is quite traditional, what you're really wanting to do is just create one thing about it that will make people look twice. So that could be the quirky angle that you put something in, or it could be a little highlight, like a particular piece of material. Sometimes you don't know until you've started what that will be. But that little highlight, that when people do look at your design, they're going to just go, oh, what is that? And they have to have a little second look. Now, I'm looking at this and I'm thinking, I've got a little bit of a gap there, so I'm just going to see what I've got. Probably the best is just another of the allium heads, and we can bring that down into there. In fact, we can probably bring it down into here, which makes me think I've got another gap. So, just really want something for just in there. And this little bit of dark foliage is just going to do the job. So we've got quite a straightforward arrangement with some unusual materials, but just showing you something a little bit different. Now, if you've never used a pin holder before, then why not have a look at this video, which shows you us using pin holder in a slightly different way. And it really shows how easy they are to use, and it is worth investing in a good one if you can. So that would be ones that have copper or brass pins rather than just steel pins, because they would tend to rust. So I hope you've enjoyed today's video. As you can see, we can make an arrangement really quite quickly and quite easily, and this pin holder we can use again and again. So don't be scared. If you've never had a go at arranging flowers, then give it a go, because really part of the fun is putting it together and enjoying the process. So we've got new videos every week. We'd love you to join us for our next design, and we hope to see you soon.